Yeah, what is going on, everybody? We are back with another episode of From My Experience podcast. I'm your host, Rob. My body is dead because me and Black Thunder had a great workout today. If you don't know who Black Thunder is, that is what I named the tire that I told y'all about that I purchased. Yeah, when you get back into working out, and you have worked out before and you was buff and in shape, don't try to start back off where you left off. Bad idea. All right. Anyway, I am not alone. I have the co-host with the most with me today. Biff, what is going on?
Hi guys, how's it going? This episode will be much lighter than our previous episodes.
Yes, this is literally the day after the episode.
Yeah. Even if
So,
we show this show out of order, just to let you know, we just did the Black Lives Matter episode. So yeah, that's what we're referring to, previous
yes.
episode. But it may be given to you out of order.
Oh, it's definitely going to be given out of order. So we have a very, very special guest today. And as you all know, I like to give surprise introductions, meaning I'm going to say things about them that they ain't ready for. So, who is our special guest? Well, let me tell you how me and this person came to meet each other. She's the wife of one of my best friends. Now, I know typically people got their homeboys and their friends and they cool with them, but they don't ever really think about the spouse like that. They don't develop a relationship with the spouse like that. But I knew I have to develop a relationship with her because one, my boy CV is one of my best friends, and two, he talks about his wife more than she probably thinks, and he talks about how much she came into his life and really helped him change for the better. And that is inspirational for me because y'all know I'm a lovesick puppy, and that's the kind of life that I want. And I really appreciate her for that because we need our black queens to really have our back and to slap us on the back of the head sometimes and get us right. So I definitely appreciate that. Appreciate you for that. So without further ado, we have a licensed and my mom is calling, and that was my iPad. Hold on. We have a licensed professional counselor, Mrs. Jessica Vann.
Hey y'all! I'm so excited to be here finally. I thought you were going to say I'm your best friend's wife, and I know her because she keeps begging to get on the podcast. Like, I thought that's where you were going with that, so I'll just put myself out there.
Surprise.
But yeah, I just want to say Black Thunder seems like a really inappropriate name for your tire.
You didn't read it.
I
So
like Black Thunder.
you call it Black Thunder because when you're flipping tire, if you have the right size tire, when you flip it, if you flip it correctly, it slams the ground and it makes a loud thwap.
Clap.
So that's why I called it Black Thunder. If you're flipping it
You
right,
know-
you know what I'm talking about.
In my profession, if you flipping it right, same thing. So I think that might be. I can see where the confusion would come in. Is what I'm saying.
To preface the conversation we're about to have, you guys, I tried to do this with her last week, but we had not done our Black Lives Matter episode, and I had personal stuff going on. My relationship ended, and I just had a bunch of stuff going on, and I just could not process and get the gunk out. And I was just like, I couldn't spark the conversation. So Jessica actually held a session for me, and therapy, all the things that I've heard about therapy are definitely true. I definitely felt like
All the good things, I hope.
Yeah, the good things. Sorry. It felt really good. She asked me some very challenging questions, and she gave me a lot to think about. And I really appreciate that. So let me shut my face. Tell the people. Well, hold on. Let me do my tell us about Envision Counseling.
Okay, great. So, as Rob said, I am a licensed professional counselor. I have this little like A behind my name right now because that means I'm getting my licensure, my full hours, and all of that good stuff. So it's kind of like a doctor being in residency. I can do everything, just somebody got to check behind me right now. But Envision Counseling was born because I want couples and individuals to walk in the vision for their lives, and I want to enhance sexual experiences. We are a very sexualized nation, but we don't talk about the healthy parts of sex. So I want to make that conversation less taboo, make it fun, and I don't know, just bring it to the people.
Thank you for doing that. You're providing an invaluable service, and you're 1,000% correct. Yeah, I really, honestly, I really just started opening up in my last relationship about what I like sexually, what I wanted, and stuff like that. Just because the two previous were just, like you said, they were just kind of stuffy about it. And it's like, damn, let me tie you up and tickle your nipples. But you know, I couldn't even have the conversation because they didn't make me feel like I could, if that makes sense. I felt like I'd be judged, and it's like, but you know, you want to spice things up and take things to the next level. So, all right. Let's take it back to the beginning. So, how did you get on this path to become a counselor? A licensed professional counselor. Let me get it.
What made you want to be a counselor?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't have a really sexy story for how I got into counseling. Like, I have my own traumas. I just don't. I have my own traumas, and I have had some really bad relationships, and I've had some really bad sex. So, in order to stop my friends from going down that road, I talked about it all the time. I can turn anything into a sexual conversation. And they found these conversations to be helpful, and they were like, you should do this. This is what you should do. I was in school to become an athletic trainer. My plan was, I lived 10 miles outside of Charlotte. My plan was to meet a Charlotte Panther, get married, and never work again. But that's not what happened. My friends were like, no, I think counseling is more the way you need to go. And so I said, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it the way I want. I'm going to be the younger, hotter Dr. Ruth, and I'm going to talk about sex. And that's just how it happened. I met my husband in 2005, but we were both savages, and so we could not be together. Met again. What? I mean, it's just facts.
I love it. I love it.
We had no business doing. We met again in 2011. Had our first date in December. I was pregnant in January, and so we started talking about what the future looks like. And
well,
here it is. Yeah,
makes sense.
It makes
married
sense.
and happy.
Married and happy. I mean, I'm going on 6 years of marriage, and we have these very open conversations about sex, and it's made our relationship better.
Okay, so
you look like I feel like I know too much. That's
You said what?
You look like you think you're like, I know too much. I know way too much right now.
No. This is awesome. So, what are some of the typical issues or that you, I guess, hear that go on in relationships in regard to sex? Like, you talked about some of your own experiences.
What are the top 3 issues that causes breakups?
Exactly.
Oh, shit. I'm going to check on my chicken.
You go check on your chicken.
Biff, get in your bag, Biff.
Exactly what you said. Not making or creating a safe space for talking about sex and sexuality and the things you want to do. I am a firm believer that your pleasure has to come first. However, we have grown up in a society where, he gotta get me off, or she gotta do this, when in fact you are in charge of that.
True.
So if you're not getting to climax, it's not really your partner's fault. That's one of the things.
I dare you to post that on social media.
I have several times.
I need to repost that.
Not talking to your partner about how they learned about sex and what they think about sex, because we feel like, oh, we all do it. We should all have similar ideas of how it works.
No,
But the fact of the matter is we don't. And
true.
we're not having these conversations. And on top of that, open relationships. Because with you single people, there are not conversations being had on the boundaries for relationships. I believe that opening your relationships, as long as it's what we call an ethically non-monogamous relationship, which is a big phrase for if you're going to have sex with someone else, tell me. I believe that can work. But when you get into non-ethical, non-monogamous, that is where the problem and the turmoil comes in. So basically, when you're with a cheater, that's a problem. Just so you guys know, my family got home, and so if you hear that, that's what that is.
That's
But
awesome. We keep it real. Biff, ask your question again. I'm gonna check on my chicken.
What are your top 3 breakup reasons? Like when they come to you for advice, or if they're broken up, what are your top 3? What what are your common top 3?
the common top 3 is they're not sexually compatible, meaning like one has a higher sex drive than the other.
Mm-hmm.
One is more open to like exploring than the other. They're not being honest with each other about the type of sex that they like. And I would say also, like, again, like I said before, just like setting the boundaries to the relationship and knowing what they want.
So basically, nobody's setting boundaries and feelings are getting hurt because
Exactly.
I feel one way, but I feel another way because you never set boundaries.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, we teach people how to treat us, right? So if you don't say that you want something, then how can you expect your partner to know?
Yeah, I've started lately. I've gotten on the being able to say like something hurts my feelings. Or talking to something when something happens, I'm like, that hurt or that's mean.
Yeah. And then you have to let them know. So what was it about it that, you know, hit a sore spot for you? Because when you say, oh, that's mean or that wasn't nice, people don't get it. They just be like, oh, you being soft. But when you have to be vulnerable and you have to be willing to say, this is why that bothered me. And that's the hard part, is the conversation. Like, we grew up, and I'm 35, but I grew up in like hookup culture. Like, people trying to have sex with no strings attached.
Yep. Same.
You know, not trying to catch feelings or
in that
whatever.
generation, yeah.
Right. But the scientific facts about sex is that, first of all, that is literally the closest you will ever be to someone. Someone will literally be inside of you, or you will literally be inside of someone. And then hormones, endorphins, dopamine, all those happy hormones, they release. So if you really want to have sex with somebody and not catch feelings, you really have to smash dash. Either or do that. And that, you still gonna catch feelings, but you gonna catch feelings for yourself.
Self-love is the best love, baby.
It is, and it's the safest. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that
you're
too,
going
also
to
the safest.
explore your body, get to know yourself better, and you will be better prepared for a partner, I believe, if you know what it is that you want.
Yeah.
Oh, I was letting y'all go. I was just falling the hell back.
I had to keep back because eventually it's gonna turn into a vent session for me, and I don't need that all on record and everything. So that's why I'm like, let me go ahead and pull it on back because I felt it coming out.
She's trying to have no evidence. That's what it is.
Heavenly Father.
Not on air.
Okay. How has your education and your field helped your personal relationship?
Oh man,
yeah,
that's a real good question. That is a real good question.
I'm gonna tell you something too, based off of I don't want to use the word stereotypes. Based off of what people think of people, I'm not gonna say everybody. I'll use me for an example. When I was younger, I probably would have been afraid to date someone in your field because I would feel like every conversation you're trying to analyze me. Like you hear that in movies and TV shows, like stop trying to analyze me, and it's like that's not fair. Maybe I'm just having a conversation with you, you dummy.
Absolutely.
So that's why I asked that, because I feel like now that I'm older and more mature, I feel like that would have a greater positive impact on the relationship, because you speak with people tell you, you know, their innermost things, and it is your duty to help guide them to a healthy solution. So I'm like, wow, the communication in that relationship must be amazing. Like I can just imagine the benefits if you use your powers for good instead of evil within your relationship. So that's what sparked that question.
So I will tell you this. It's a really good question, and your assessment is correct. Like, when you're in an adult relationship, you need to be analyzing each other, because the goal is to make one another better, right? I was analyzing boyfriends before I was ever a therapist.
Oh.
Because I am intellectually curious about people. I like to know what makes people tick. But I will say, in this relationship, it's really taught me how to talk, like how to communicate effectively what it is that I want. Because I will throw a temper tantrum with the best of them. And I had that. Like, my husband would be like, don't shrink me. And I'd be like, first of all, that's a psychologist. That's not a counselor. Like, we just kind of go back and forth with it. But I do know how to communicate better with him. And I do know how to, like you said, ask the right questions. I'm learning to give him the space when he needs it. Like, to be honest with you, this isn't 24/7 though. Like, I like to take off the counselor hat. I like to not be a counselor. But love languages. You guys have heard of love languages,
oh yeah,
right?
We had an episode about that. And apology languages.
And apology.
And apology languages. So, but I think with love languages specifically, people misuse them. So, for instance, my husband's love language is acts of service. So he likes for me to do stuff for him. My love language is words of affirmation. So I like to hear good things about myself. But that's not how he shows love. He shows love the way he wants to get it, right? So he'll put gas in my car in the morning. And I'm like, okay, the gas tank is full, but I look cute, and you didn't say nothing. Girl, so what is your life about, you know? So you just sending me into the world for somebody to tell me I look cute, and we might have an argument because I wasn't realizing that. He not only does he want me to do stuff for him, but he does stuff for me to show me that he loves me. Hell, I went to school and I didn't realize that until I got out of school.
Same. So, one of my friends randomly, shout out to Swazi, my friend Anasha, she brought it up to me because she's very into just a lot of, I don't know what you would categorize that as, but things like that, just very into people and what makes us tick. And she introduced me to that. It probably would have saved one of my relationships, now that I think about it, because that's where our biggest communication was. She was definitely words of affirmation, but I'm like Carl, I'm like acts of service. Like, you know, what do all these compliments mean if I don't show you anything? Like, why do I need to tell you I love you 500 times a day? I just thought it was dumb.
Because I want to hear it.
Right. And I thought me showing up, rubbing your feet, cooking, cleaning the bathtub, washing your car, I thought that was my way of showing you I love you. Like, you're my queen, you know, lay down while I feed you grapes. But yeah, you just want to hear it. I still think I just want to hear it is dumb. But it's validated. That's my opinion, but it's validated, and I'll do it, you know? So yes, those of you who have not taken your love language test, take it. Also take your apology language test. I think that is extremely important. I actually post that in a group that I'm in on Facebook, because I don't join these singles groups. Don't ask me no damn questions. Yeah, I've been sparking conversation in those groups because you should join. No, you can't. You're married. But yeah, the conversations in there are... I think you might need to be a spy. Seriously, it's a little creepy because there's like 15,000 people, and they're like my age, 35, some older, and they're posting stuff like they're 15. I'm like, y'all trying to be together or nah?
You would be amazed.
No, I am. But when I post stuff, that's really good. I'm getting like 75 replies to like legit questions because I'm like, y'all just in here playing. Any hoodle. This is not about that. So that's how that's helped your relationship. That is awesome and excellent. Where do you think the fear comes from when it comes to discussing sex with people? Do you think people are just uncomfortable with their own sexuality, or what do you think it is?
So I will say this is probably a little more based in opinion than it is like, you know, evidence. Practice. But yeah, evidence based. Thank you very much, Bill. I would say that the one way you keep people in a certain place is that you strip their knowledge. And there are 3 things that they tell us not to talk about. You don't talk about religion, politics, or sex, right? So when you don't talk about religion, you strip that person of their knowledge of the spiritual. You strip that person of the knowledge or the connection to their creator. When you don't talk about politics, you strip that person from knowing their rights, from knowing like what is available to them, what power they could actually have. When you strip someone of talking about sex, you strip them away from their being, from their self-identity. We come into this world sexual beings. And every time I say this, this makes people very uncomfortable. But like, I have an 18-month-old. She came into this world a sexual being.
Right.
You know, children cannot consent. I want to point that out. I don't want anybody to say I'm like promoting anything, but they are sexual. They come into the world. They have questions about their body. They have questions about other people's bodies. And when you strip them of that, you make them susceptible to abuse. And then if, Lord forbid, anything happens to them, there's any sexual trauma, they grow up with a skewed view of what the world is. They see sex in a different light. Sex is beautiful. Sex is a gift. I say all the time, it is God's greatest gift to us. But when no one teaches you how to use, it's like if you have a gun and no one teaches how to use it, you could kill yourself, right? Sex is that same thing. So you might die slower, but you can kill yourself.
I agree with you totally. And kids are like, you know, they're definitely sexual beings. We're not talking about kids in a weird light, y'all, but you have to acknowledge that. And parents know this. You've caught your kids doing weird stuff or touching themselves, and they because they're like, "What is this? Oh, this is tingly. I'm gonna keep doing it." Like
boys wake up wood. Like that's
when they remember.
Like, yo, what the?
I remember
when they figure out it works. They're like, "What the hell?" Yeah.
I went crazy when I. Never mind. Okay.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And sometimes I get accused of telling my son too much or whatever, but like, I don't shame him. If when he was younger and I would see that, I'd be like, cool, those are things we do in the bathroom or you do in your room. You know, if you need time to yourself, you can have time to yourself. I knock on my kid's door and I got an old school black daddy. He ain't about no door up in here. Why you knocking? Because he deserves his privacy. But I'll never forget, like my son saw me getting out of the shower and he's like, "Mommy, where's your penis?" And
I'm laughing extra hard because I know what his voice sounds like, so I heard it in
You heard it.
I heard it in my head.
Captain Fresh mode. You heard it. God. You know, like, and so we had to have that conversation.
I'm mad he said penis.
my kids know. I used to work for DSS, and I know what it's like when a child doesn't know the proper names, because they can't explain what happens to them. Again, language is the most powerful way. You can communicate a lot through your body language, but verbally, being able to verbalize something is very powerful. So we have to give our children the words that connect to these things so that they're able to use them. So my 18-month-old knows vulva. And I got most grown ass adults who don't know vulva. They're like, oh yeah, I got hair on my vagina. No, you have hair on your vulva. Your vagina is the actual opening. That's the actual hole. Um, my 18-month-old knows that. And I'm not shaming anyone who doesn't know it, but I'm challenging everyone to be intellectually curious about their own bodies.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pay some bills really quick. And then we're going to come back and talk about the Love and Lust adult coloring book. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I'm sure you've never considered adding a coloring book to your bedroom repertoire, but Love and Lust is the adult coloring book full of sensual imagery, sure to get things heated up. I'm Jessica Vann, and I help individuals and couples to enhance their sexual experiences through learning to prioritize their pleasure. I'm a licensed therapist, and I developed this coloring book as a way to eliminate the shame sometimes associated with sex and increase healthy conversations about true intimacy. Love and Lust is accompanied by the Essential Love and Lust Toolbox, which is online and offers therapeutic exercises sure to spice up things in and out of the bedroom. Head over to envisioncounselingllc.com and get your Love and Lust Toolkit today. From My Experience podcast listeners, get 25% off when you use promo code FME. Get your copy of Love and Lust today and add a little color to your sexy.
Hey, we are back. We hope you enjoyed that. Oh, wait. Oh, look who's actually on the show to give you more details about the Love and Lust coloring book and toolkit. Go ahead and let's talk about. I'm sorry, I gotta say this. I said this to you before. I love that background, and now I realize why I love that color. That is like the same color as the Robin Hood app. Your accent wall.
Oh. Carl's like, this is like being inside of an Easter egg. I'm like, okay, whatever.
I'm sorry, I scatterbrained. So, Love and Lust adult coloring book. Let's talk about it. I just ordered mine today too. Hey, and the kids.
Hey. So, the people can't see this, but imagine if you will. Okay, it's this lovely little book here. I was very intentional to make my characters in the book have African American features. However, you are free to color in whatever color you'd like. But I got this idea for an adult coloring book. You got to say it twice. Just because I want to add the innocence back to this topic. And people are like, what do you mean the innocence? When you were coloring as a child, there was no shame to anything that you were doing. Same thing with sex. This book is all about like learning the themes of intimacy, enhancing those themes in your relationship, and getting comfortable with intimate imagery. So if you are a single, because I get this question all the time, well, why would I buy this if I'm single? I tell people you need to work on your singleness before you get into a relationship.
No.
So you need to understand these themes. I have traditional mandalas in here. And in the therapy world, a mandala is a very detailed picture that you use to kind of de-stress and bring yourself down. But I have a couple in here, and they get into some pretty steamy situations in this coloring book. Like, for this one.
I like that one. What page is that?
This is Desire. So the pages are not numbered, but they're spaced out with the mandala. So this is Desire. And like, she going for what she wants.
Oh, tell Desire I said what's up.
Women, like, my ideal client is Black women, and we have been stifled sexually for so long. Like, Black bodies are over-regulated and have been for hundreds of years. So for women to take control, seeing a little action there.
Yes.
For women to take control was really important. the man is in here, but he is just, of service. Of service,
You about
So
to
I
make me
gotta
make a phone call. Go ahead.
I gotta show my favorite picture.
Oh, wait, Jeff, your reaction.
Are you not ready? Are you not ready for my favorite picture?
Go ahead.
Oh.
Let's see.
Let's see. This is my favorite picture.
Oh.
So, if you are right, girl.
Whoa, this is steamy.
They're steamy, but
I have to get better at that.
We should be comfortable with this because the thing is, I have clients.
Huh?
You realize what you said.
My finger thing, I can't.
Yeah.
We talking about sex.
Just make sure your hands are clean, your fingernails.
I'm not good at it. I just rather.
You know what I'm starting to notice too? A lot of women are enjoying it less and less.
I just rather eat you out or just penetrate you. I just can't. I'm not. And yeah, I that's what you know what?
But
Never mind.
That's something that I enjoy if done correctly. But
I'm gonna tell myself. Let me tell myself.
But here's go ahead, tell it yourself. Go ahead.
Just don't know how to masturbate to women.
What we gotta fix? What we got to fix?
I forgot about this. There's this one time in college, and someone, so we were together, and I'd been watching too much porn, so I'm like, the jackrabbit fingers, like, yeah, fuck, you're gonna love this. She didn't. Yeah,
poor thing.
It was bad. Scratched her. It was bad. Ever since then, nope.
If my phone dies,
you'll be back. Go plug up, girl. But no, I will say this. So the coloring book comes with the essential Love and Lust toolbox. And the reason I say it's essential because yes, you can buy them separately, but it teaches you how to use the book therapeutically and it offers you some exercises. So my favorite exercise is called Sensate Touch. So there is a number of ways to do this, but I think what's lacking from a lot of single people's sexual experience is intimate touch and learning what your partner likes. So one of the ways to do this exercise is person A will say, I'm put you on the spot, Rob, since you're in front of me. So Rob and your partner will touch you the way she likes to be touched.
Oh.
Okay? So that what the whole exercise is about connecting your body to sensations. So you kind of get an idea of what she's experiencing when you touch her that way. Then, and the whole point is not arousal, it's not orgasm, it's not to lead to sex. It's just to practice the touch.
That's important.
Now you can do this without touching a
what? Say that.
Erogenous,
hold
like
on,
the breast.
your Skype was like messing you up. Say that again. You say you can do this with what?
You can do that without touching erogenous zones. So like not touching the breast, not touching the penis or the vulva, the vagina, or you could do it and touch those parts. But you guys would switch places so that you could feel the same sensations. So when I say that, I usually get weird looks from guys. So again, I wish you guys could see what I'm doing here. But do you know what this is? Anybody know what this is?
No.
You don't know what this is? Biff, you know what this is, boo?
The dental dam? I can't see.
This,
I don't motherfucking know what that is.
you have to know. Oh my gosh, this is the clitoris.
Oh, I only know what it. Never mind. Bad joke.
Say it. You only know
the meaty part.
I only know what it looks like when she's in the house.
So a lot of people only
Wait,
know.
hold that up again. That's the whole thing?
That is the clitoris. Yep.
Wow. Never seen one that big either.
So if you guys go to my Instagram page and go ahead and plug myself at Envision Counseling, you will actually see a side-by-side of the clitoris and the penis. They are essentially the same organism. right? So this is the external part, just like I told you I had props. Like this is the head of the penis. It's nothing but a large clitoris.
That explains
These,
a lot.
because we all start off as female, so these are essentially testicles. And this to form a guy would come together and that would be the shaft. But this is why just rapidly rubbing the clitoris ain't doing shit because you are neglecting
y'all don't like it.
Yeah, nobody likes it. It's the worst. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm always hands free, so.
Yeah. So learning how your body works is important. It is. And nobody should be ashamed if they don't know, because I do a fun game when the world was open and I would do my webinars. I would put a big ass blown up poster of the vulva and I would be like, all right, ladies, here's the word bank, name the parts. And women would almost always confuse the clitoris with the urethra.
Yep.
And I'm like, if you don't know where it is, what makes you think your partner is going to know where it is?
Very true. That, you know what? I'm so glad you said what you just said. I think too many people, men and women, we expect someone to just know when it comes to sex, and it's like, no, you have to tell them. They've been with 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, however many people before you, so they may know the quote-unquote basics of sex. They may know, have a little bit of touch and a little bit of what to do with the vagina, but every woman is different. I've never had sex with two women the exact same way, because they all like different things and they want different things and they orgasm through different types of stimulation. So I ask, like, maybe after the first couple of times, I'm like, all right, what can I do better? Like, you know, hey, give me some signals. Like, put your hand on my head and slap me, something. You know, here's your safe word. Like, because I want her to be pleased. I don't ever want sex to be an issue in any of my relationships. Sex and money, I don't ever want to be issues in my relationships. And I've avoided that thus far.
Way to go. I mean, but you know, even women get nervous about that because we are kind of taught like, oh, well, we don't want to hurt his ego, so we're not going to show. I'm not that girl. Not that girl. Not at all. Never been. But like men at the same point have to be willing to hear.
Yep.
Because what I hear from clients and what I've experienced myself is when a woman says, oh, I really like this. Oh, so you did that with that other nigga, so you think, look, dude, it works.
She's with you now.
Right. And it works. Like, why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah. He just happened to discover it. You know, like I was about to say, like Christopher Columbus. I'm about to trigger something. All right, don't want to. I'm about to trigger. Yeah, you have to remember she's with you now. So sorry, she has experience. Duh.
And y'all, this is my favorite topic, so I know I'm talking a lot. But can I?
This is about you.
So, okay.
You're supposed to talk a lot. That's why you're a guest.
You know, I got a broadcast degree, so I know you always want to control your interview. But
who, me?
You mentioned porn. You mentioned porn. I got some things to say about porn.
Okay, talk about porn while I go check my chicken one more again. But go ahead.
Look, I hope this chicken is bomb, okay?
It will be.
I really hope this chicken is good.
Talk to the people about porn. They're listening.
So I think that pornography gets a really bad rep because of the fact that we don't teach people how to use it. Parents often shy away from talking about pornography with their kids, really pointing out the fact that this is fantasy, right? This is not real life, and showing their children, or not showing them, but like illustrating for their children what healthy sex looks like. Pornography is not real life. It's just like the Matrix is not real life. So you know, if you do something heinous and a sexual experience, you can't blame it on pornography. That was just you. And especially now that porn is so readily accessible for people, our kids, I mean, again, my poor baby, I put him out a lot. But my son is 7, and I like check his history all the time. He didn't watch porn, but he looked up like the hottest TikTok videos. So I know he's like watching girls twerk, or
Right.
and that's okay. And I tell him that's okay. Shit. But if you come across something that you have questions on, parents need to create a safe space for their kids to talk about that, because then they grow up being young men who think, oh, I'm gonna fuck like a porn star, and they end up hurting themselves or someone else.
You are absolutely correct. It's funny you just mentioned that. I just made a post about someone talking about something unrelated, but I said this. I said, when you grow up and get older, it's okay to not live by, well, my mama said, well, my daddy said, because they were wrong about some stuff too. So
Absolutely.
when I say that to say your parenting style is something that is needed, we have to adapt and grow. It can't be, well, my mama raised me like this, so I'm going to raise my kids like this. Yeah, but you didn't have access to the entire world in a device that could fit in the palm of your hand 24/7.
Come on, somebody.
You know what I'm saying?
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And, it's funny because, again, the conversation came up about Grand Theft Auto with my son. And, and Carl was like, you cannot play that. There's prostitutes. And, of course, my son's like, well, what's a prostitute? Talk to your mama. That's your mama's area. And so I was like, there's somebody who sells their body. Some people do it by choice. Some people are sex trafficked. And he's like, whoa, that's too much. I'm like, no, it's not, because they go together. This is, I can see if I went far left, but he needs to know. And even when you're watching your porn, you want to make sure your porn is ethically sourced. The girl that they're saying is barely legal, is she barely legal or is she illegal? Like, we need to know. You need to know these things. And I want my children to be cognizant of these things, because there are actual people on the other side of that pornography video that you're getting your rocks off to.
Yep.
But I'm not one of those people who are like down with porn. I say do whatever, get your rocks off, as long as you know that there's consent. That's all I worry about.
Yeah. You just don't know what you're gonna get with porn. It's funny. I usually use porn for personal pleasure, but also to learn things, because there's some interesting stuff on there. I don't believe all that sex can't be satisfying. I know it's not. In some cases it is, you can tell, but in most cases, like, oh, I want to try that, or oh, that's something that interests me that I don't regularly get or normally see that a woman can do, or is willing to do, or is willing to try. So porn for me is like more of an escape, whereas I know some people, they're just on it 24/7. I don't watch it nearly as much as I used to when I was younger now, because my mind is just elsewhere. But I like the points that you bring up. Yeah.
So my question to you is, when you do learn something new, do you have a conversation with your partner before you pull out your new move? Or
absolutely not. Plagiarism at its best.
Not at all. I'm just coming off the top ropes, and it is what it is.
Maybe in the future. Maybe in the future I will. I'm gonna take. Yo, this is. So, I learned actually when I was a kid, not through sexual experience, y'all. I learned how to give a woman oral sex when I was a kid. There was a show that came on HBO called Real Sex. I don't know if it still comes on. Yeah.
Real Sex.
Used to have to sneak and watch it, but I know I was stupid young.
Hit previous channel going up. Yeah.
And she had
that was Channel 5, HBO.
Terrible. She had this big, what's the thing? She had a stuffed animal version of a vagina with all the parts, and she was talking to them about it, and then she was showing the clitoris and stuff, and I'm just watching, and it's just something that stuck with me. Obviously I didn't talk to my parents about it. They would have freaked out at that time. But I remembered it, and the first time I, decided to do that with someone, I was like, because I've never done it. And obviously we're young, we're not going to have a conversation about it. And she's probably never had good oral either. And I just did what was in that, what I remembered, and it worked. It always works, actually. It's the most funny thing. But I'm not giving that secret away.
If it serves you well, then use it.
Yeah, I definitely do. So, okay. So on a more, I guess, serious, well, all of this has been serious conversation. Um, you said you wanted to also speak about overcoming sexual trauma.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I guess talk to the people about, what is defined as sexual trauma, because some people probably, think of the extreme, but there's probably more subtle things that are still sexual trauma.
Yes. So sexual trauma is of course on a spectrum like most things. So say, we're talking about like sneaking to watch real sex. Well, let's say somebody forced you to watch real sex.
Right.
Or, you know, I can't say that other communities don't do this, but from my experience in Black communities, we over sexualize little girls and we say things like, oh, she got on them shorts, that's fast. Although nobody's done anything to her,
Mm-hmm.
they've kind of, put in her mind that the way that she dresses is inappropriate. Or, if you're 12 years old coming to the barbecue and your uncle says, hey, boy, you ain't fucking yet. No, he's 12.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna check on my chicken again.
it could be um something on that extreme, or it could be all the way up to actually having a sexual assault. So sexual trauma is definitely, it's in the eye of the beholder. It really is defined by that person, and it usually has some type of impact on someone's sexual expression.
It does. I have sexual trauma. Well, I had sexual trauma. I kind of got over it in my own way. Just really thinking about what you just said. I've heard some of those things and I saw some things. And yeah, it really can. I thank God I turned out the way I did. Not say that if you turned out different, anything's wrong with you. But I could see why some people end up the way that they end up and do some of the things that they do, because mentally it's like you said, this whole conversation, it's an embarrassing, uncomfortable conversation, and you don't ever feel safe talking about it, so you bury this thing deep down inside, and then the slightest thing might trigger it, whether it be something you see, something you smell, something you taste, might trigger it, and you can never ever ever release this thing to someone because you're so afraid and you feel like you did something wrong, you don't want to be judged and all those feelings. So that's why I think it's very, very, very important. And
Right.
yeah, and you're right.
And,
Those, especially in our community, like I get the whole uncle and cousin and stuff, but it's like educate them. Like I've been in situations where we were talking and chilling and talking about stuff, and somebody says something in a joking way, and I'm like, no, break it down for them, because like I could tell the person was uncomfortable, but they were like interested. So I'm like, no, just don't say it and like joke, like talk to him about what's going on and what he needs to do. Like if you're gonna joke about sex with your nephew or something like that, talk to him about using condoms, talk to him about STDs, because if he keep hearing you ain't fucking, and then he goes out and gets a girl pregnant, well, uncle, you said I wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Or go out and get burnt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. And the thing is, it's like we get the instruction to like don't have sex until you get married, and even that I won't call it a trauma, because so there's big T and little T trauma. So you have little T trauma that are things that you could probably get over. So like the whole don't have sex until you get married may not have a major impact on you, but I've been in the room with married couples and the woman is like, they just told me don't have sex until I get married. I don't know what to do. I can't please myself. I can't please my partner. I don't know.
wow.
And then you have, so I am a survivor of childhood sexual assault, and I have no problem talking about it. You may encounter someone who feels that way. Like I would just say it very matter of factly. Why? Because I want you to know what I want you to know. I'm
Right.
not going to go into any detail. That's my protective mechanism. And I would have people say, oh, nothing happened to you because you just out here fucking this person and that person. Yes, because I will never again have sex and it not be my choice. So so I made that choice, and I'm not ashamed that I made that choice. I had lots of sex because I wanted to, or at least I thought I did. I didn't realize that I was really being motivated by being in control, because having that power stripped from me really made me feel like I know this guy likes me. Eventually, he's going to ask me for sex. I need to be in front of that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, we can't judge anybody's story. So, y'all, when y'all see the girl who y'all are saying is fast or she's out there, start to ask yourself why. When you see the guy who has to have, you know, a whole harem of girls, ask yourself why. There's a, you know, I have a friend who's like, yeah, man, I had sex when I was 8 years old. I'm like, no, you didn't. You did not have sex when you were 8 years old.
You definitely didn't.
You know, like.
Yeah, you're definitely right.
Yeah, and our society needs to start calling it what it is. You know, for men, it's a badge of honor, and for women, it's like, you know, the scarlet letter. And we just need to call it what it is. So my whole mission when I work with men or women who are survivors is to help them let that go, put it on the timeline, and be able to say, this happened to me when I was 14. It doesn't have to control me when I'm 25. I can make the choice, and I can make the choice because I want to, not because I want to be in control.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Biff, I've been talking a lot.
No, I mean, I'm not really. I can't really say much because I see a counselor, and so.
I feel like I might have to talk to Biff on the side because she's trying to hold some stuff down. That's why she's not talking. She's like,
y'all do need to have a conversation. It's interesting. You really caught my attention with everything you just said, but something really stood out to me when you said, you know, don't have sex till you get married. Now they're married and they're like, I don't know what to do. I've been, wow. All of my girlfriends.
I've been that partner. I think everybody's been that partner where you felt inexperienced, where you felt more inexperienced. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that shit will fuck you up. Like,
yeah.
All my partners have been, well, not all of them. Most of them have been experienced or more experienced than myself because they put me on to things.
Mm-hmm.
And so that could be intimidating. So I could just imagine it for somebody who ain't had no sex, who don't even know what they're looking at or what they got going on. Actually, there's this guy I know who has a wife that did that. They told her no sex, nothing until she got married, and now he's sitting there telling me, is he wrong for going out to go find a girl who actually know how to fuck?
Ooh, but you know what? Go ahead. Go ahead, professional.
I think you have such an amazing, like, even that for me. I don't know if I'm just weird, but I'm like, that's such a gift.
Yes,
such a gift because you get to teach your partner how to be your partner. Yes. You know what I mean? And I think it should be like that with any relationship, even if you've had sex a million times. The person you are with currently, you get to teach them how to be your partner. Because I have a friend who, you know, she went to her marital bed chase. She had never been with another man. And then she was like, this is what y'all be so excited about. Like, this is it. It wasn't satisfying for her because she was like, y'all had built this up. And then they ended up getting divorced, probably not for that reason. But she was like, I regret this. Like, I wish that I had taken the time to, like, maybe not have sex with a whole bunch of people, but at least get to know me, you know? So I think that your friend, I'm not going to say he's wrong for going out, but he should have a little more patience with his wife.
You know what?
Yeah, he just told me she was a complainer and he was kind of over it. Everything he tried, she had an issue with. So he was just kind of over it at that point. So that's why I was just kind of like, oh, shit, that's a real sticky situation. Because now you talking about marriage and vows, and that's a whole different...
It's a whole different ballgame.
Yes.
Yeah, in itself. So I was like, I can't really speak on that because I've never been married.
Yeah.
So that's not for me to be like, yeah, I think you should do like... Yeah, that added a whole different type of dynamic in there. So
they in South Carolina, send them to me. I'm telehealth now, so I'm serving the whole state. Just bring that's a good couple. I would love to talk to them.
What you said is key. I've been fortunate that in my relationships, all three of them had something they'd never experienced. Two of them had never had an orgasm before me. Hey, like
what you go out the door, you know, because your head is real swollen.
It's not. Like... it was weird to me because I was like, when they had it and they didn't know how to react, because when it came, they thought they were going to pee on themselves and all kind of stuff, and they're like pushing me off. So I got scared. I'm like, oh fuck, are you okay? And they're like, they go through it. Y'all know what that, it looks different for every woman, but sometimes you can see it and tell. And I'm like, yo, what was that? I'm like, that's an orgasm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm like, okay, let's give me some more right now. I had another partner who she never masturbated ever, and I bought her a bullet, and first time she masturbated, she literally cried tears of joy. Yeah, so it's very, actually 2 of them never had orgasms, and that same thing. So to me, you got to have the conversation, talk to them about it. You don't just tell them, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. Like, look, let me explain to you what's happening. This is what's going on. This is probably what you're going to feel from what I've heard, because I'm not a woman, because I don't know. And you're right about the whole teaching them. Like, that is perfect, because they are a blank slate.
Yeah.
I mean, tempo, rhythm, all that stuff, the amount of juiciness.
That should have pained my ass. I don't care.
For me, it was great. Because
I ain't trying to mold nobody. That's pain. That's a pain. And
I used to say that. I used to be like, I don't want that responsibility. Like, go have fun and then holler at your girl. But the fact of the matter is, like, as an adult now, I'm like, man, that would have been like such an amazing opportunity. He could have been a gift to all other women because of me. But I think I will say, Rob, that's one of my hardest questions to answer when a woman is like, I think I had an orgasm. I don't know. What does it feel like? Because I'm like,
then you ain't had one.
Yeah, I'm like, you have not, but you will. You will know. You'll just come in, like, you'll just come in the office and be like,
yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like childbirth. Like when they tell you know when to push, and you like, what the hell? I mean, I don't know. Like,
know when to push.
Your body tells you when to push. Like,
you damn sure know. Yes. So, yeah, I love sex. I think sex is such a beautiful thing. I do want to clear up one misconception, because my husband says he gets this a lot. So this is from him, really. Okay. Like, people will call him and be like, I know your life is amazing. Like, your life has to be amazing. I just want to say, I am a sex therapist. I am not a porn star. Like,
okay, I'm just going to say, you ain't no sex addict. You just talk about it.
I am not a role.
Why did I feel that coming?
Yeah, he can't. Like, he can't get it on demand. You know what I mean? I got things to do. We got kids. So his life is good. He has a good life,
But you know what he does have? You probably have way more understanding than the average wife. And you're probably more attentive to his sexual needs than the average wife. Probably. Because you know the effect it can have.
Y'all let this counseling shit fool you.
It don't. Oh,
she's still a human being. Shit.
I'm not saying you got to give it to him 24.
She like to take her hat off. She like to take her hat off.
A bitch in the morning. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not. What I mean by that is I've had struggles where it's like, yo, it's been 2 weeks. It's been 3 weeks. Like, damn. Like, can you touch my nipple or something? Like, there was just such a wall there. It was just like, I don't care about your sexual desires, basically. Yeah. Like, it's not important to me. I've been in that position. I know what it's like. I've been in a relationship to where we started out having sex, and because she felt quote unquote guilty, she stopped. Nothing I could do. It's like, what you gonna leave me? Well, I love you, so I'm not gonna leave you over that. But fuck, thanks a lot. So I just feel like you probably have more understanding. I think that's important because sometimes even I haven't always been in the mood and I've done it. Because it's like, I understand what it's like to be on the other side of that. That's all. But yes, I don't think you're an adult film star.
I will say, I guess, when it comes to what I consider to be the positives, but like, you just said, you haven't been in the mood and you would do it. Like, well, when I'm not gonna say not all, because he does it too, but like when he's not in the mood, I know it and I'm not understanding. I'm like, okay, and what's your point? Like, so
Drop them.
so, right, so I can be pushy sometimes, because I'm
What'd you say,
human.
Diff?
Drop them.
Drop them.
Or like, you know what? You just got out the shower. Don't put them on. Like, just
Right. You know what I'm here for.
Yeah, we've had those moments, and I push through just because I get off. My biggest turn on is turning her on and making sure that she orgasms. That's it. Like, I don't really care about. I'm like, I'll go jerk off. Don't care if she get, like, that's my goal. So like, even when I'm not in the mood, I'm like, ooh, challenge. Like,
but let me tell you why I say your pleasure is your priority, right?
mm-hmm.
Because just how men get performance anxiety, women do too. And I want to say that sex is not a performance, it is an experience to be shared. So if I know that his end goal is, I just want you to come, that's hard for me, because I'm like, okay, this could take, like, I don't know. It could be a minute and a half. It could be, I ain't got an hour in me no more, but it could be 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it can take a while.
Yeah.
It's, when you are in an intimate situation and you are thinking, I just want my partner to get off, people can feel that. We talk about that body language, that communication. So I can feel when he's like, I'm just trying to get her there, because he's doing things that aren't natural to him and don't necessarily feel good to him. And so now I'm thinking, oh shit, I gotta get there, because that's what he's waiting on. You know what I mean? Oh. It's an experience. Just be there. Just be present.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's changed my whole sexual life. I didn't think about it. I never thought about it like that. You're right. I never thought about it like that. Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. I have some concepts in my head that I'll keep to myself until part 2. So, the last topic, and then we will let you go be a family woman or do whatever it is you need to do besides yapping at us.
I want to run away from them because my 18-month-old just... Anywho, go ahead.
So, couples sex therapy. You've touched on a couple of things with that. What does that look like, and who do you recommend that for? And are they in the room at the same time talking to you? Do they have separate sessions? I be wanting to know.
So, I do couples therapy, sex therapy or otherwise. I do together. I like to do like at least maybe the first 3 sessions together, and then I will separate couples, because sometimes you get more when the other person's not in the room.
Of course.
But I have a no secrets clause. So.
Oh shit.
Yes. So when I do couples therapy, my client is the relationship, right? So my client is not the husband or the wife. The relationship is my client. If you tell me something that I believe will endanger my client or that my client should know, I will help you to process how to tell your partner what you need to say, but I will not keep secrets. So that includes, like, if you tell me I'm sleeping with someone else currently because I asked for a threesome and she won't let me, I will say, you know what? I don't think that is going to be healthy for your relationship. And I want to remind you, the relationship is my client. So how can we talk about this with your partner? Because if we're not able to talk about it, then I have to discontinue. Then I can't see either one of you, because that's just not going to sit well for me. It's not in the best interest of my client. But it looks like so many different things that it would be hard for me to put that into words. But I suggest it for anyone who's having sex. Anybody who wants to try something new and doesn't know how to say it to their partner.
Makes sense.
Yeah, there's so many different things. I had a couple most recently who they're looking at opening up their relationship. And so we need to talk about, well, what does that look like? Because there's many it made my head spin when I did the research. There's so many different structures to open relationships. Does this mean we both get a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Does this mean only one of us gets a boyfriend and girlfriend? Are we having sex? Are we just going to dinner? Like, these are things. And so it's almost like the way I felt in that session was it's almost like mediation, right? When you're getting a divorce or you're signing a prenup, you guys are trying to come to terms. So I help them to come to the terms of the relationship. I've had couples who want to be swingers, who want to open up to BDSM, have fetishes, all kinds of things. I love it. It's the best thing ever.
Wowzers.
And I get paid for it. That's what's so
Oh,
good.
you get paid for what you love.
That's so awesome.
That's goals. So your greatest influence, you said Dr. Ruth and your husband. Let's talk about your influences.
So Dr. Ruth is the cutest little 4'11" sexual badass, and that she was the first person I ever heard talk about sex. And so that encouraged me to be bold and to talk about this thing and not make it taboo, because everybody does it. It's like that book, Everybody Poops. Everybody has sex, with the exception of people who are asexual. They do not. But that's why Dr. Ruth. And then my husband, like I said, when I met my husband the second time around, I had just been denied to a graduate school. I was going to go into student affairs. And I'd been denied, and I just decided, you know what, fuck it. I will be a stay-at-home mom and a wife, and I still believe that that is the most important job I have, and I love this, but I would give it up in a heartbeat to be a mom and a wife. And he was like, nah, you got to do something. And the way he said it was really off-putting. You know, Carl, you know how he can.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But the way he said it was really off-putting. But he was like, you are capable of so much more. Like, he just really pushed me to be the best me that I could be. And in that moment, it really was like, man, this is like everything I've been looking for in a relationship and didn't know that I was looking for. So I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I would not be here if it wasn't for him. And he always makes it very clear to me that now that he's paid for my master's degree, I can't go nowhere. So we go together, you know? Like, it is what it is.
Excellent, perfect, beautiful. So in closing, I have one final question. I ask this to all of my guests. What words of encouragement do you have for the young man or the young woman looking to pursue what you have achieved in your life thus far, that becoming a professional counselor?
Words of encouragement. Do it, and do it your way. Like, there is no one way to be a counselor. Everybody has in their mind, I guess, what a counselor is, but you don't have to be that. I am working very hard not to be that. And ask questions, reach out, use that smartphone for more than dumb shit, because that's that's what I use it for. But get on the Instagram, ask questions, just put in sex in the search thing, and it will bring up a million sexologists. And I thought, oh, there are no Black sexologists. I won't have anybody to help me through this journey. And I found an amazing village. So find your village and love what you do.
I need to find a village. All right. So we want to thank you once again for joining us. We appreciate the information and the insight. Long overdue. Finally got you on. Thank you so much. Thank you also. Huge special shout out, monumentous occasion. Jessica Vann is also.
Gonna say something that makes you so uncomfortable, but I'm not gonna do it.
Do it. I was gonna.
You popped my From My Experience cherry.
All right, we'll see y'all later. Jeez. Oh my gosh. You made me forget what I was about to say. Oh, she is our first ad partner.
Woo!
So her ad was in the Black Lives Matter episode. This is her. You should recognize the voice. So we want to thank you for that. I cannot wait for my book and my kit to come so I can look at these things and learn and explore.
I keep trying to close your show, Rob, but look, one last thing.
Go.
Y'all, Black Lives Matter, point blank, period, end of discussion. Anybody trying to argue with you about that, like, keep it moving. But pleasure is not canceled, okay? Being in black love is the most revolutionary shit you can do. Having a pleasurable experience and showing these people that we still gonna be happy and we still gonna be on your backs. Y'all, pleasure's not canceled, okay? Black love matters. Sorry. Go ahead, close your show, boo.
Listen, look, hey, this is about you. So, yeah, you're right. And that's your ad came at a perfect time. I was like, oh, it's going to go perfectly in this episode. Let's break this up with something fun and educational. But I want to thank you all for joining us. Tell them where they can follow you. Tell them where they can find you. It'll also be in the description.
Yes, so I'm on Instagram at InVision Counseling, and that's InVision Counseling. On Facebook at InVision Counseling. You can find my website, InVisionCounselingLLC.com, where you can get the coloring book. I'm going to be dropping some webinars. I have a body positivity webinar, so learning more about your body. It's specifically for women, but men, you can get down to learning the science of your body to enhance your sexual experience. And I'm currently working on Black Pleasure Matters. We're going to take a historical look at Black relationships and the systems that have attempted to separate us from our pleasure. We're going to talk a little bit about like the founding of obstetrics, ladies, because what's happening to our men in the street is happening to our women in the hospitals. So stay tuned for those things. And Rob, Biff, thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
You are quite welcome. Y'all already know where to find us. Facebook group From My Experience Podcast. Instagram, FME_podcast. If you have a question, comments, you can leave them on Instagram. You can leave them on Facebook, or you can email us, fmepodcast1@gmail.com. We love y'all. Thank you again for the continued support. We hope you learned something. Don't forget your promo code FME when you order your coloring book and toolkit. All right? And we will catch y'all next time. Biff, take it home.
Stay black, stay proud, stay you, and stay down. And we will definitely catch you next week. Peace.
Peace.